Text, tweet, sleep, and eat. That's all teenagers do, right? That's all we do, right? Yeah?
Right.
Sit on the couch, watch Netflix, and pour garbage into our bodies that burns up like paper in a furnace. It's really, really easy to be a teenager, right? You don't do anything. You don't care about anyone that doesn't share the same last name as you, right? Well, let me tell you a story, right? that one fell flat. So last year, or I'm sorry, this is 2015. In the fall of 2013, in Louisville, Kentucky, there was a storm. Now this storm fell around the time that leaves started to fall. So all this water from the storm had been picked up, all these leaves had been picked up by the rain, and they started to go into the sewer drainage. Now normally the water going into the sewage drainage wouldn't be a problem, but with the leaves it started to clog up. When the leaves clogged it up, the water eventually, more and more of it, started to flood the street. So I was panicking, I was freaking out. I was like, Dad, how are we going to stop the water from flooding the street? How are people going to go through? And my dad was like, here, catch. Metal rake. And what do you know? The old man knew something. He just took it and he swept the leaves out. Water went straight through. It's really easy, right? So later that night, I was showered, I ate, I was ready for bed. And my dad had knocked on my door. I opened it up. He said, remember what happened this afternoon? I said, yeah, it's a lot worse. So on my second story window, I looked through and I saw water just like up to my mid thigh, and I'm like, whoa, it's a lot more than it was yesterday. So I went out thinking, I'll just get the metal rake, sweep out the leaves, it'll be good, it'll be fine, But there was a problem. During this storm, there was lightning and thunder. The thunder isn't very bad. It's lightning that will kill you, right? There's this river of water in my street, right? And I live on this kind of little hill, and it flattens out with other houses. Now I live on the hill, I'm fine. The water starts to creep up the hill, and I'm thinking, I'm sitting on my porch in the rain just with a t-shirt and shorts, just thinking, how am I going to stop this from destroying my house? I've lived here for 12 years, I love it, had so many memories. How am I going to stop it from flood damage? And I'm just thinking of how to save my home, and all of a sudden, there's these headlights that appear out of nowhere. Turns the corner and just slams into this river of water, this wall of water in my street. And at first I'm thinking, what are you trying to do with that little Ford Escape you have? Like, I'm so confused on what this person's trying to do. And I'm still sitting there, I'm just squinting at this car that the engine just dead. It's gone, right? I'm like, okay, well that's kind of expected. Yeah. Water flood the engine, makes sense. And then I'm just looking at it, and within 30 seconds of the engine shutting off, the door opens, and a 65-year-old woman just starts screaming for help. And without thinking of my safety, which was honestly stupid in hindsight, to be completely honest, I sprinted into the water and I tried to help. Now, as Michael said, I am an Eagle Scout. To become an Eagle Scout, you have to earn a badge called the First Aid Merit Badge, and one of the requirements for the First Aid Merit Badge is that you have to have calming qualities. You have to try and calm someone down in emergency situations, just so it doesn't get worse. So here I am, up to my thigh in rainwater, lightning all around me, and this elderly woman laying on the horn and preaching, like almost preaching, just praying, screaming for God to help her. And I'm just, ma'am, don't worry, I'm an Eagle Scout, all this stuff that doesn't matter to her right now. Right? She's freaking out. My car's flooded. I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm going to do. And she's laying on the horn, yelling for help. I'm here trying to, no, help, calm down. Didn't help. So my dad kind of just stepped out on the porch. What's going on? I'm like, Dad, call 911 and please help. So we called 911, ran out, and this woman had hip surgery about a week before the rain. A 65-year-old woman with hip surgery in the middle of a road that she doesn't know where she is, there's lightning all around her, and a 16-year-old screaming in her face to calm down. I wouldn't be calm. I wouldn't be calm at all. I'd be freaking out. But me and my dad helped her. She had called her family that she was trying to get to wait out the storm. Makes sense. She just took a wrong turn into the lake that formed in the road. So someone had called 911. It might have been my dad, it might have been someone else, but there was a police officer right on the other side of the road. And I'm thinking, okay, well, let me see. And his car wasn't flooded. He's fine. He's nice and dry in the middle of a storm with people freaking out and stuff. And he's just Packers lost. You guys laugh. And I was looking at the car that had her lights are on, her engine's off. She put it in park. There's no way that we're going to move that thing, right? So I knocked on the police officer's door. I said, hey, see that over there? You know, the thing that you're here for? That woman, she's okay, she's safe, but we're going to try and get the car out. Do you have any idea how we can get it out of the park? So we can push it out of the water, maybe salvage it, maybe? He goes, she hurt? I go, no? Sorry. Okay, no, okay. If he doesn't want to help, he doesn't want to help. I can't change that, right? Now, it makes me mad because I'm looking at my father and I, we're out in, I don't know how cold it was, it felt like 30 degrees or something like that with the rain, it was awful. Me and my father were the only two people out of a beautiful neighborhood, very, very popular, very kind neighborhood, and we're just looking at people kind of squinting through the windows like, ooh, it sucks for them. It's probably their mom or something. Oh man, glad I'm nice and dry in my Snuggie. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing? This woman needs help, she can't do it. It doesn't make sense how they're not helping. Now, Jesus knew a thing or two about stereotypes, right? This guy asked, Jesus, how do I get into heaven? Jesus was like, let me tell you a story. Yeah. So he found out how to get into heaven. Now, there are stereotypes. This is my main point. There are stereotypes all around us. It doesn't matter where you go, what you do, what you say. It doesn't matter how closely you hold the Bible to your chest, how close you hold it to your heart. You're always going to look at people and prejudge them. I mean, it's happened to all of us. You guys can't deny it. And there's nothing wrong with it. You guys aren't getting kicked out of heaven for thinking of someone that, you know, right? Makes sense. Now, if you look at me, if I'm walking down the street in just sweatpants and a sweatshirt, you're going to think, wow, that kid kind of looks like a dropout, hasn't shaved in 2 days, wearing a really tight shirt and Asics. You're going to think, he doesn't look good. He doesn't look good. Now, if you knew that I was already accepted into college, I'm an Eagle Scout, I'm very active in my church, I love God, you're going to think a lot differently of me. Now, how do I make that connection with people? Do I just walk around kind of like, hey, can I get the number 2 combo? You're not going to think I'm an Eagle Scout. You're not going to think I'm in college, except I guess. You're not going to think I'm very active in the church. Now, how do I make that connection? I come up and I shake your hand and I say, hello, my name is Drew Pope. It's very nice to meet you. What is your name? Tell me something about you. I want to know about you. I want to connect with you. How do I do that? How does someone make that connection with someone? How does someone break that stereotype? Anybody know? No, I'm not looking for hands right now, though, so it's not really. We break it with mercy. We break it with love, compassion. Like I said before, teenagers, most of us, a lot of us, some of us don't care about anyone other than ourselves. It's so selfish. It's so wrong. I mean, I can understand that you're very conservative, but you gotta love people. You gotta love thy neighbor. That makes a lot of sense. Because if you love thy neighbor, then that neighbor's gonna love you back, right? It's kind of the way it works. Most of the time when you shake a hand, you feel that squeeze back. You think, hi, I'm connected with you some way or another. I'm breaking that stereotype. Right? You gotta show mercy. You gotta love thy neighbor. text, tweet, sleep, and eat. That's all I do, right? That's all teenagers do, right? Guys, thank you so much.